match here this afternoon. Why waste any more time? Jelly Draskovic out of Serbia now for the Seminoles sends it in. Set to the left pin, Ava Brizard off Draskovic. Florida State sends the free ball over. Here's Rice, the right pin, who has been incredibly consistent and has been building momentum on that side of the net for NC State. Gets the scoring started.
I love what Coach Slabay said about Rice. He said, we don't have some of the wins that we have gotten without her on the team.
Said she's a player that's not going to have some of that all-conference love, but her contributions have been invaluable. And there's a nice block to get things going. 2-0. Jada Allen making an impact early.
Jada Allen does such a good job closing that block. She's very fast, super dynamic in the middle.
Brizard serves it in. Rothman off the top of the block, played up by Brizard. Kristen McDaniel with the back set to Rice, dug up by Draskovic. Florida State will be out of system and send the free ball back to NC State. Out of the middle, Jada Allen dug up once again by Draskovic. Florida State's setter being pulled out on first contact multiple times over as Corey Lewis puts that ball down. I think Lucas Slabay thought she was on their side of the net, which obviously, if that is the case, you can't do that.
Nope, and Corey Lewis is so tall. If that ball is in the center of that net, she's going to take it.
So that sends Andre Rothman, the sophomore from Birmingham, Alabama, back to serve. It remains point Seminoles, 2-1 Wolfpack. Courtney Bryant from the left pin. Love the story that Lucas Slabay told us about Courtney Bryant. Came to NC State, was recruited out of a small town in Virginia. Just a very raw athlete, very athletic, but didn't fully understand volleyball. And he said that in 2 years, not even 2 full years, she has adapted and learned quickly. There's still a lot of room to grow, but she has developed into a 6-rotation player for the Wolfpack in 2 years with an injury hiatus in the middle.
Yeah, so impressive. Yeah, he said at the beginning her skill level wasn't that elite, but he saw she could bang balls. And with that comes a lot of potential to hone in that skill. And now she's a 6-rotation player, like you said. She kind of does it all for the NC State.
It's carried some of the load on the left pin. They've been dealing with an injury to Martina Leoniak, who is also likely going to see some time here today. And there's a nice block once again by NC State. They are just wreaking havoc at the net here early against the Noles.
Yep, that was Riley Schock, the middle blocker. Florida State out of system. Draskovic had to scramble for that, and Riley Schock ate it up. Second on the team in blocks right now. That was her 58th of the season.
Wolfpack are on a 3-zip run. Here's Maddie Snyder. She stepped up big for the Noles offensively against Miami. Gave them an added boost with Corey Lewis out for the match. And here's Audrey Koenig. Not going to take long to see number 4 in white assert herself. She does so within the first 7 points of the match.
Here's NC State with the hustle play. So quick back there, but then Koenig plays a little cleanup. She touches 10-8 and just snaps on that ball. It's such a high point over the net.
Overpass, and Rice puts it down. That ball just dug up over the net, and Rice was in the right spot and knew exactly what to do with it.
That's exactly what you want to do with an overpass. Eat it up, put it straight down. Whether you block it, tip it, swing at that ball, you have to take advantage of it.
Rice, one of the returning scorers, or one of the leading returning scorers from a season ago, as that was hunting the line, but out of play. The service error by Naomi Cabello, the second setter in NC State's 6'2 system setter, always in the back row. And that sets the stage for Florida State to introduce their second setter in their 6'2 in Kenna Phelan. Fantastic freshman, all-state player in Arkansas, Gatorade Player of the Year twice. Audrey Koenig with the second kill of the match.
What's so good about Audrey Koenig is she will slam a ball cross court, and And then this one right here with a long approach, snapping so high on that ball, right in between two defenders. That one more so down the line. So it's hard for the defense to get in a rhythm because of all that range she has.
Florida State has survived the early onslaught by the Wolfpack. They've trimmed the lead back to 2, but guess who? Maddie Williams. Her name is Madison. Her team calls her Maddie. We'll call her Maddie as well. Has played on the left, plays on the right. Transferred in from Texas a couple of years ago, and really just a tremendous student athlete. Service error, another really close one there, at least from our vantage point. NC State serving aggressively, just a little bit long, but again, from our angle, looks like it's pretty tight to the line.
Exactly, and that's what you need to do if you're NC State. You need to serve aggressively because you want Florida State out of system so they're not able to set their really powerful middles.
That time tooling the block, Maddie Williams. That's a smart shot, and already a couple of kills for number 1 in that red and black combination uniform. That looks cool.
It really does. You know, Maddie Williams more comfortable on the outside, but as a right side player, she's made the transition pretty quickly to a whole new side of the net, and she's done it really well. And look at that serve.
What an interesting serve. I can't say I've seen something like that. She took off almost like she was going to serve a jump top spin, and she floated it in for the ace.
So this is what happened. She tossed it a little too far in front. She had to speed up to get there, drop that elbow. It was almost like a roll shot, a really powerful roll shot over the net. I can't believe that was an ace, but it caught Florida State's serve receive off guard, obviously, because of the way it looked.
Well, you can file that one under the strange but effective category as NC State. I mentioned Florida State survived the early onslaught, but here come the Wolfpack right back. They lead it 9-5. Really a strong start. They're hitting .500 so far. As we take a look at their season profile, they were picked 8th in the ACC preseason poll, so right in the smack dab middle of the league. Defeated number 5 Louisville in Raleigh last Sunday, but credit to their strong non-conference record and that big win against the Cards. Their RPI checks in at 27.
Something that I love that Coach Slabay said is after that Louisville win, he said every team has a breaking point. We were able to find Louisville's breaking point, but we're keeping our feet firmly on the ground. And I think that's such a smart thing to say. They demand so much from themselves. And yes, they had a great win, a huge win for the program, but that doesn't matter. In the end, you have to keep demanding more from yourself.
They took a trip down to Coral Gables on Friday and took on Miami, where they lost in 5. And we'll touch more on that 5th set against the Canes here in a moment. But first, we'll introduce you to the head coach of the Wolfpack, Lucas Slabay. We've mentioned him a couple of times. He's in year 4 in Raleigh and just a tremendous resume that we'll touch on here a little bit later as well. We broke the huddles a little bit quicker than I think we were anticipating here. Everybody's fired up. They want to play. And so rest assured we'll have plenty of time to introduce you to both head coaches as Stokes commits the service error.
That was a great timeout by Coach Poole, icing the server.
Lead down to 3 for the moment. Kiari Roby rotates to the back row to serve. Tremendous server, Kiari Roby. Cabello sets that ball off the net. Rothman digs it up. Florida State scrambling. Conley attacks it. Another tight set to the net, I should say. And there's Florida State's double block coming alive. Good to see Corey Lewis back on the floor for FSU, along with Audrey Rothman, who's coming back off injury herself.
See Audrey Rothman here just tracking that ball, moving with the attacker. Really solid block.
Bryant was jammed up there on serve receive. NC State pulled out of system. Rothman on the attack. Net foul will be called against Ava Brizard, who recorded what would have been a kill off the Florida State block. So the swing was good. The result would have been NC State point, except 7 was in the net.
It was a pretty tight set. When you're going for it like that and you're being aggressive, sometimes it just happens.
Service error right back to the Wolfpack. And that'll bring in Kristen McDaniel, a veteran presence for the Wolfpack who is as steady as they go. This is an overpass that the Wolfpack clean up.
It's a great flat float serve. It moved at the last second. As we can see here, that's the pro of a float serve. It moved and Audrey Koenig wasn't able to get a perfect pass on the ball.
Net was vibrating, but that was due to the volleyball. Brizard was not in the net there. Set to the middle, Corey Lewis with a big swing and finds the end line, point to the Knowles.
Coach Poole told us Corey Lewis and Kenna Phelan have a great setter-hitter connection. They've really been working on it. It takes a while to build that chemistry between a middle and a setter, but they've been smoothing it out, and it's really clicking here in ACC play.
Familiarity, camaraderie, comfortability, chemistry, all things that are still very much in the works. Nice defensive effort there by Snyder, just getting that ball over. And the huge block to clean things up at the net as well.
It was almost as if Corey Lewis and Rothman knew they were going to run a little back set right there. Both of them diving their arms into that angle, sealing that block so well.
That was Jada Allen, who, like Corey Lewis, one of the most efficient hitters in the ACC. Rice missed the sideline and missed the Florida State touch. We're tied at 11.
Rice definitely feeling Audrey Rothman's big block, trying to squeak it by her, but just aired a little too far outside. But that's what happens when you're trying to tool.
Knowles are on a 3-0 run. Rice again off speed, smart shot. Good coverage by Snyder, and there's a nice block by the Wolfpack. Hey, both blocks are getting in on the act early. That's 3 for the Wolfpack. Florida State's got 2 of their own.
And Jada Allen on the block, she's not guessing. She's reading and reacting to the set, and that requires a lot of discipline, which she struggled with at the beginning of the season, Coach told us, but now she's really honing in on it.
How about another one? This time it's Courtney Bryant with the solo stuff.
Good pass and quick set, but Courtney Bryant just tracking that ball, pressing her arms over the net.
Rothman had it rejected. Oh my goodness. Lucas LeBay is fired up. So should he be. My word.
That's what you have to do. Well, Florida State has such a high hitting percentage as a team. You have to shut them down with that block, and that's what NC State's doing so well with right now.
Knowles' passing just has not been very clean. And now here's Courtney Bryant firing away from the left pin, a free ball back to the Wolfpack. Bryant again would be looking for a touch call. She won't get it. Point Florida State, the much needed one at that. Despite that flurry of blocks for NC State, Knowles are still within 2 here. Something to keep an eye on. Florida State, one of the best hitting teams in the country, currently hitting a negative. Big credit to the NC State defense, and there's a tip by Bryant on the left pin. It's effective enough to get the ball down and a point on the board for the Pack.
And I know Coach Soleil told us, you know, when he was recruiting her, her skill level wasn't totally there. She could just bang balls. Well, right there was a ton of maturity.
Yes.
Great court vision. I think her skill set has really come full circle, and she's kind of got the whole arsenal right now on offense.
What a fun first set. Droskovic, what a nice job setting up her pin. That was a tight pass, and she made the absolute most of it.
Droskovic going up with that one hand, that is my favorite set to watch right there. And then Corey Lewis just controlling that nice and deep where the defense wasn't.
Oh, nice high arcing pass, but Florida State was ready for Rice. Here's Rothman. Excuse me, that's Koenig from the left pin.
Both Audreys, it happens. Great swing though, pretty much straight down. And that right there is the middle blocker on NC State's fault, not getting there and closing it, and Audrey taking advantage of the seam.
Rice dug up by Droskovic. Here's Koenig rolling it and kept up by Stokes. Bryant firing away, missing Florida State's hands, and guess what, folks? We're tied again.
It's a really smart shot by Koenig. She just bounced a ball on the 10-foot line, so now she's catching NC State's defense kind of on their heels. They're ready for that hard hit. The little roll shot was all it takes sometimes.
3 kills for Koenig, 3 more for Corey Lewis. That's been Florida State's scoring to this point. Bryant off the block, and you can just see the confidence continue to grow in Courtney Bryant.
Absolutely, and you gotta appreciate Kristen McDaniel, what she's doing as a grad student and a setter. She has great situational awareness. She's spreading out her offense really well.
As it stands, Bryant the leading scorer on the floor. And Droskovic saw an opportunity and dumped it to the floor. Heads up play by the veteran setter from Serbia.
Great court vision. She could feel NC State defense on their toes. Dumped it right into that little donut hole. You know, she's coming off of a double-double at Miami. 20 assists and 20 digs.
Her brilliance often goes understated. We'll talk more on that here in a second. That's a tough break for Kenna Phelan, kissing the tape. It's a surface error. But going back to Droskovic just for a second, if I may, she's been fantastic for the Noles and continues to be this season. That's going to be a lift. Kiari Roby had to lift that ball just to even attempt to get it across. So a point to NC State. They lead at 18-16.
Yep, that set just a little too low for Roby, who's very, very tall.
That time a high set and a tip by Roby. That one finds the floor on the Noles side out.
Really smart tip by Roby. It was a crossbody tip, great in-system pass, and great timing. It was, that setter-hitter connection was definitely on.
Nice pass there by Stokes, and smart shot by Ava Brizard, tipping it over the block, showing a whole lot of range and variety. One of the things Lucas Slubbe said was a strength of hers.
Exactly, and also I love, he said she's got a killer instinct and she never backs down. She's leading the team in kills. She's definitely their hot hands.
There's that jump topspin I was looking for, and it is a whole lot of fun to watch if you're not the team on the other side.
And then back to Brizard. Something that I love that Coach LeBay said is even the practice before a match, he tells her to stop jumping because, you know, she's going to get tired, but she's just keeps going, killer instinct. Florida State with a timeout, trailing by 3.
This October 10th and 11th, Prime Big Deal Days give Prime members exclusive access to 2 days of big savings, which means you're kind of a big deal. Prime Big Deal Days, October 10th and 11th, only for Prime members.
It's bow time.
It's not just football season. It's tailgate season.
And this season includes every kind of football.
Tailgate like a legend with bold, hand-breaded chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits. Order your tailgate box in the Bojangles app. It's bow time.
And Doug.
And Doug says you can customize and save hundreds on car insurance with Liberty Mutual. He hits his mark center stage and is crushed by a baby grand piano. Are you replacing me? With this guy?
Customize and save with Liberty Bibbity.
He doesn't even have a mustache.
Oh, look, a bee-boo.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Those new tiles are falling right into place until you run out of, what are those called again? Oh, right. The Home Depot app is made for doing that doesn't miss a beat, so you can find what you need fast. and keep things moving in the right direction. For doing that doesn't stop, download the Home Depot app. It's made for doing.
We've mentioned him a few times, Lucas LeBay, the head coach at NC State. And while, yes, this is his first D1 head coaching gig, he was very eager to tell us in our conference call. He's had many, many head coaching gigs over in Europe, including as the Slovenian men's national team head coach. He was an assistant coach for the BYU men's team for a few years, an accomplished BYU student athlete as well, national champion, in fact, and was also a USA Volleyball assistant coach, and all they did was win gold in Tokyo. So an absolute fantastic hire by NC State, and he's got them going clearly in the right direction. Speaking of the right direction, that's a much better pass and result for the Seminoles. Sydney Conley taking care of business over on the right pin, number 15 in white.
Sydney Conley loves that cross-court quick swing. Pretty sharp right there, and Jada Allen not closing that block, and she took advantage.
They'll be back to serve. NC State was jammed up on serve receive. Koenig with the set to Conley. And here we go. Back set, a little tight to the net, but Florida State hits James Phillips.
If you're Corey Lewis, you definitely want to control that ball. That was kind of a little gimme. They could have run a really quick set out of that, but sometimes it happens. You get caught up.
3-point lead for the Wolfpack as Kristen McDaniel heads back to serve. Out of the middle, Corey Lewis firing away. She missed the sideline, and this is right about as big of a lead that NC State has had. They've led by 4 now at a few different points here in this set, and of course, this is huge late. Conley on the right pip. Zard into the tape.
That set by Kenna Phelan right off that serve receive was so athletic and dynamic. She does a really good job moving that offense around. Florida State gonna look to chip away here. They need an aggressive serve, and there's no better person to do it than Droskovic.
8 service aces in ACC play. That leads the team. Rice off speed. What a smart shot. Saw the opening in the floor, rolled it over the block, and it found its way home.
Something that Coach Poole said about NC State is that since they run a 6-2, all of their hitters are impressive. You know, most teams might have a ghost hitter that your blockers don't have to focus on, and you can double up somewhere else, but not NC State. You can't leave a hitter alone. You got to defend the whole net.
Snyder had to wait on that set, reached back and shoved it to the back corner. I'll tell you what, this freshman continues to impress.
Exactly, and she has great court vision. That's what this is right here. And usually court vision comes maybe the older you get, but she doesn't play like a freshman. She's got a lot of great aspects of her game that are fully developed.
Flat serve there by Rothman, just clearing the tape. Bryant had it dug up. Back bump by Droskovic. Koenig with a huge swing. That got up into the ceiling. It's still in play. Stokes attacks it, and hey, how about that? Get the libero involved in the offense.
Stokes, a libero kill. You do not see that very often. Florida State's defense a little scattered, a little chaotic back there.
And so with that, NC State has arrived at set point. Jada Allen will serve it in. And that'll do it. Villamau's pass into the net, and NC State. Both teams coming off 5 setters against Miami. The Noles won it. NC State dropped a tight fit set, and quickly, just as we were talking about, Florida State on serve receive. First ball contact has been an issue for them, particularly in non-conference play. It's flaring up here again today.
It's a great serve by Kristen McDaniel. She's targeting Audrey Koenig right now. Let's see if she goes back to her.
Poole, the head coach of Florida State, did say that Audrey Koenig gets targeted a lot on serve receive, and they're aware of it. This time it was Rothman who transitions out of it, and the Wolfpack have to send a free ball over. Snyder with the shove. Corey Lewis out of the middle. She's been one of the most efficient hitters in the country, not just the league, but she hit a negative in set 1.
Oh, wow, that's definitely surprising out of Corey Lewis, who is just getting back into it here, but look how sharp that swing is, just dropping right in front of the libero.
Lewis, who like Rothman, who just served it in, one of a couple of Seminoles who in the last few weeks spent some time in concussion protocol, and it's been incidental stuff, and Chris Poole emphasized that to us. He said, it's nothing that we're doing in practice. He said, you know, in one case we had a couple of players collide on the floor. That can happen to anybody. And in one case we had a crazy carom off a block that caused the other. And so, you know, they've been working through that, and good to see Lewis back and doing stuff like that.
Exactly. Lewis just put so much power behind that swing. Not to mention, she's hitting it at such a high point and just putting a great snap on that ball, running a 3-set right there. Jada Allen not totally lined up right. You'd like to see her crash into that angle, reading Corey Lewis a little bit better.
Kylene Filamawa drops in the first ace of the match for the Seminoles, and they have their first lead at any point in this match to this point. Quick set to the middle, Jada Allen. Same thing by Florida State, but it's Roby. Bryant dug up nicely by Filamawa. And there's Koenig off the block. Tip the cap to Filamawa. That was a quality pass of the volleyball, and Koenig was the beneficiary.
Yeah, Filamawa lined up right perfectly in that angle, and then Koenig hitting high hands, tooling that block.
Bryant off the block, and that one falls just in front of Audrey Rothman.
Great powerful swing by Bryant. She's got a nice long approach, so all her momentum moving forward, powering through that ball.
So that'll send Jayla Allen back to serve. Koenig. That's a kill, and an emphatic one at that, dug up, over, and almost into the Seminole sound.
Koenig did a little bit of everything right there. A great serve-receive pass, and a swing that's just too powerful. It's shanked onto the opposite side of the court. You know, Koenig touches 10-8. That is such a high point over the net to be snapping on that ball.
Already 5 kills on 7 swings for Audrey Koenig, hitting 714 to this point. Bryant dug up by Filamawa. Nice job by Kylene again, and there's Koenig. 6 kill, 8 swings, 750. Hello.
And Kylene Filamawa kind of getting into a rhythm here, lining up really well into that angle, digging Bryant right there. She's really stepping up into this libero role and getting better every single game.
Koenig in on the block. NC State maintains possession, jousts at the net. Stokes gets it up. Bryant sends it over. Here's Roby off the block. Sheer chaos taking over here in Tully Gym. Another joust at the net. My goodness. I think everybody has touched the ball at this point in this rally. Bryant off the block. Koenig off the block, and that'll finally do it. That was a pancake initially by NC State. If they could have gotten it over on 3, James Phillips was waiting for the 4th contact. It finally came, and it's finally point Florida State.
What a rally. That one was a little hard to stay in my seat throughout. It looked like the ball was going to touch the floor, but just such scrappy play on both sides. Audrey Koenig, 7 kills, hitting 778 right now.
A 4-point lead for the Seminoles, who are on a 3-0 run and looking to bounce back from a set 1 loss.
It's bow time.
It's not just football season. It's tailgate season.
And this season includes every kind of football.
Tailgate like a legend with bold hand-breaded chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits. Order your tailgate box in the Bojangles app. It's bow time.
Those new tiles are falling right into place until you run out of, what are those called again? Oh, right. The Home Depot app is made for doing that doesn't miss a beat. So you can find what you need fast and keep things moving in the right direction. For doing that doesn't stop, download the Home Depot app. It's made for doing.
Faith's Flowers wasn't living up to its name, but now she's using Amazon Business. With bulk orders that work around her schedule, plus easy ways to track spend, which means Faith has the time to make it, well, fantastic. Amazon Business, your partner for smart business buying.
We welcome you back to Tallahassee. We'll introduce you to Florida State's head man, Chris Poole. Over 900 career D1 wins. It's the second most amongst active Division I coaches. And this Florida State team he is at the helm of this year has been quite the ride. Injury-laden, but tons of talent. He said they've got as much talent really as he recalls having since 2014, 2016. Those were sweet 16 years for the Seminoles. It's just getting them all healthy at the same time. But one thing he said, the mentality is coming. He said Florida State teams traditionally are gritty, they're tough, they'll battle till the end, they have a never say die attitude, and they'll just straight up fight for points. And he says he sees a lot of that in this team's DNA.
Exactly, and we've seen a lot of that in ACC play. 3 out of the 5 of their wins have gone to 5 matches, and they've been able to pull all of them out. That's resiliency, that's grit, that's a never say die attitude right there.
He's going to call a challenge, and they're challenging that the ball was touched by NC State. As it was called, the ball was out of play, and the point went to the Wolfpack. So as it stands, Florida State has a 3-point lead in this set. Now with every challenge, there is the potential of a 2-point swing. This could grow to 5. It could stay where it's at right now at 3. Some of the reviewable plays include whether or not a ball was contacted by a player. That is the crux of this challenge here. Whether or not it was in or out, the ball was ruled out. I don't think that's what's going to be disputed. I think it was clearly out. Whether or not somebody was in the net, whether or not somebody had a illegal back row attack, or whether or not there was a service foot fault on somebody's service motion. And so I think it'll be interesting to see, did somebody touch it or did somebody touch the net? The cool thing about the review system, Madison, is that within the context of any review system, you can see multiple things.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And I love the challenge system so much because if you challenge it and you're correct in that challenge, you get it back. So you have the ability to challenge again. Tough call per usual. Looking to see if Yari Roby touched that ball.
I'll be honest with you, Madison, I think that's more of the question.
Yeah.
Did Florida State touch it? Because that one angle looks like Rice hit the ball into the tape, and if Florida State doesn't touch it and that ball goes out of play, it doesn't matter if it touches Rice on the way down. It's still point Florida State.
Exactly, and Rice looks pretty confident that she successfully tooled Roby.
And the other thing that makes it interesting is kind of like I mentioned, was Roby or Koenig in the net? So if you establish that Florida State didn't touch it, within that same sequence you can see if Florida State was in the net, which at that point means it's point NC State.
Exactly, there's definitely a few things that you could challenge in this play.
Again, it was ruled NC State's point. And based on this angle, we would assume that it was ruled that Rice tooled the block for a kill. And Florida State's challenging that they didn't touch it. And it's going to be point to the Wolfpack. Okay then.
All right, let's start to play some volleyball.
There was some mass confusion there as to who touched what, who didn't, and which way we're pointing, because both signals were given to Florida State and then to NC State. So the Noles are down to just one challenge for the match unless they get to a fifth, or they would get an extra one. So that is something worth noting. NC State, they still have their two.
And that right there was Kiari Roby really heating up here in ACC play, starting out with 12 blocks versus Virginia Tech, and then just a handful of blocks, hitting over 400 in conference play. She's really been heating up when it counts.
That is out of play, and I'll tell you what, Madison, it's very clear to me that the Noles have stepped up their own service pressure. They have got NC State scrambling, and by contrast, they're hitting 538.
There you go, right there. The numbers show how important service pressure really is.
Williams off the block. Here's Conley.
Conley, a very deceptive player. She's very wristy, and she loves to take advantage of an open seam where the middle blocker isn't able to close it.
Noles are on a 3-0 run. They lead by 6. FSU's block, it's not going to go down as a block, but Stokes is the one who sends the third ball over. That's not necessarily the most ideal situation for the Wolfpack. Rothman had been hit in the negative. She still is, but there's her first kill of the match, and it keeps a good run going for the Noles.
That was an all-around fantastic play by the Noles. First, it was Audrey Koenig digging, diving down that line, and then Kenna Phelan with a really quick set out to Rothman, which was timed perfectly right to her shoulder.
There you go. Over on the right pin, Courtney Bryant had rotated over to the right side of the net and did a nice job tooling the block. It's part of that all-expansive repertoire, understanding how to vary your shots and utilize the opponent's block to your advantage. Back row attack, Koenig rolls it. There's Bryant to dig it up. Off the block and down Brizard.
Brizard with that killer instinct, and you can see in the way she approaches and the way she swings. She's very powerful and explosive out of that approach.
She's a player that Lucas Lebay told us she's hard to pull off the floor, even when she's not playing as well as she's capable of, because of that exact mentality, that X factor that she brings to the floor. Here she goes again, this time tipping it. Rothman with the roll shot down the line. Here goes Brizard again. So she showed the tip, then she showed some heat. And there's Rothman showing a little fire of her own, and a kill for the Noles to double up the pack.
Great deep swing by Rothman, but Kenna Phelan with that set from pin to pin. Perfectly placed. And Rothman definitely taking care of that, looking very comfortable hitting that ball.
Pin to pin and back row to front row too.
Seriously, Kenna Phelan does not play like a freshman, but she does have a ton of experience. She's won state in high school, Arkansas Gatorade Player of the Year, so she's got the resume.
Good stuff from Phelan. Ella Gaona checking in. She's been something of a serving specialist for the Noles. Was a great high school libero, but you know, when Emery Dupes went down, she was one of several Noles that was in the running to take over primary libero duties, and Chris Poole said, look, it's just a big step. She's a great server. We're going to get her on the floor for a few rotations, but to ask her to be the starting libero so early on in her career is asking a little much, but she has looked good as a server.
And there we see that jump topspin by Stokes. There's just so much power and speed behind it, and then since it's a topspin, it crashes and it dives towards that line, making it very difficult to get underneath and pass.
And Stokes made the freshman handle the heat, and Florida State has subbed her out already. Another jump topspin. This time fielded by Audrey Koenig. Rothman off the top of the block. Brizard dug up by Koenig. Florida State scrambling here. So too now NC State, but that was a nice set by Stokes. Wow. They talk about setter hands, and she surely showed them off.
And as a libero, I mean, it's such an advantage for your team if you have setter hands because you take those out-of-system balls. And Madison Williams, even though more comfortable on the outside than she is on the right side, so strong and dynamic on that right side.
A 3-0 run for NC State, and they've trimmed it to 3 against the Seminoles here in this second set.
Pepper, yeah.
So what strikes you here in set number 2, Madison?
There's a bunch of things that Florida State is doing well. Now they're passing well. Audrey Koenig getting targeted a lot on serve receive. She's able to keep that ball in system and start passing a little bit better. But NC State's resiliency is very impressive to me. Yes, they're down by a little bit, but there's no doubt in my mind. They're so fiery and passionate that they're going to chip away at this lead. Something that I absolutely love that Coach Slave said. He said, the sky is blue, the grass is green, and we just aren't good enough yet. They demand so much from each other. They want so much more for themselves, and I just thought that was a really fun quote because of how resilient they are.
And in light of their rally here against the Noles here at this midway point of the set, again, they're on a 3-0 run. Something else that stuck out to me that he mentioned on our call was he said, I've got a gritty team. We've got a group of women who don't just say it, they truly don't quit. And they exemplified that thought set 5 against Miami. They did lose the match against the Canes, and it was a tough loss for them, but they trailed 14-7 in set 5, which is to 15, and they ended up losing at 16-14. So they went on a 7-point run to knot things up at 14 all before the Canes eventually found a way. But it just shows that tenacity and that toughness that NC State owns and takes pride in.
Exactly, a 7-0 run when the entire match is on the line. That just, I mean, they were being aggressive. They weren't erring. That's very impressive. You don't see that happen very often.
And if there is a downside, Madison, to that jump top spin, it's a very high risk, high reward type of serve. It's been phenomenal for Stokes today. But if you miss it just slightly, you do bring in some high error elements.
Exactly, there is definitely a large margin of error that comes with that serve.
Draskovic, a tremendous server, and Brazard and Co. side out immediately. Ava Brazard really heating things up here in set 2 for the Pack.
Yep, you see that swing. She's got all of her weight and momentum moving forward, allowing her to put a lot of power behind that swing, and she's got a lot of range as well, so it's difficult for Florida State's defense to read and dig that ball.
She's another one of the players that Lucas Slave told us won't get a whole lot of the love and accolades, but she's been tremendous. Look at Rothman down the line. That's a smart shot. It was wide open for her, and she did what she needed to do.
Audrey Rothman, only a sophomore, but very mature as far as her arsenal of shots. She's got that deep tip. She can pretty much hit every area of the court.
Now back to serve. Brazard had it rejected. Maddie Snyder, Corey Lewis teaming up.
Maddie Snyder did a good job setting that block. Corey Lewis coming in and closing it. So tall. Sometimes all it takes is a little tip over.
Didn't dislike the decision by Brazard, though, to try to tip it over the block. Corey Lewis just too good. That's pancaked, but Florida State could not get it over on 3. They're laughing about it. That's a tough break for the Noles and a nice shot by the Wolfpack.
Now we're seeing a ton of different shots. It hasn't just been bouncing balls. Both teams' offense really using that entire arsenal of offense.
And not just the shot variety too, Madison, but I'm struck by the balance of both of these teams. Everybody's getting involved. Everybody's contributing across the net. I mean, both of these teams, I think, you can just say they're very, very well balanced.
I agree, and that's the beauty of running a 6-2. You have 3 attackers at the net at all times, so you're able to spread out that offense really evenly and hold that opposing block accountable.
Philomal with the service error. That'll trim the lead down to 4-4 the moment. It'll send Jada Allen back to serve. 4 aces for the pack in this match to go along with 4 service errors. Audrey Koenig with another kill. That is now her 8th on 11 swings.
Wow, I mean, Audrey Koenig is so efficient, really such a leader out there. And that ball was a little off the net. It was a little chaotic, but it doesn't matter. Out of system, in system, off the net, on the net. I said it before, but she is so efficient and effective.
Kenna Phelan checking in. Rice off the block and down. A timely kill for Amanda Rice, who has quietly been very solid here for the pack today. That's her 5th kill of the match.
And for Rice, a lot of it is the power and the range. So when scouting her, coach told us it's hard for the defense to know what they're gonna get, and they have to adjust on the fly.
She was anything but quiet against Louisville. Over 400 hitting percentage, reported 16 kills in the match. Oh, wow. The angles are getting sharper and sharper, Madison.
Holy moly. Great timing on this set. Great setter-hitter connection. Block wasn't closed. Audrey Koenig taking advantage, touching 10-8 and just snapping on that ball, hitting 750. She is on a roll.
Allen. Excuse me, that is Williams off the block and out of play. Addie Williams. That'll be her 4th kill of the match.
That was kind of poetic. It was co-offensive ACC Players of the Week, back-to-back kills.
Kiari Roby. Rizard off the block, played up by Filamawa. Here's Conley letting it rip from the right pin. Rizard again. That's passed by Koenig, and there's Audrey Rothman out on the left pin as the beneficiary. Nice set by Phelan as well.
That was very impressive by Rothman. She didn't get all the way back in transition. She kind of got caught at the net, but just powering through in that deep corner.
NC State's going to call timeout. Lucas LeBay had the challenge card out at one point, decided not to use it. Instead calls timeout here. So if you're NC State, Madison, clearly you got to hit the reset button. How do you go about doing so? What is priority number 1 here coming out of this timeout?
I say this a lot, but I think it's first contact. Of course, you need to stay in system, work on that first pass, just hone in on it. It's one play at a time. They're still in it. They just have to clean it up and focus on what's in front of them individually at a time. And then defensively, I'd like to see their block and defense step up a little bit. Florida State definitely taking advantage of some seams that they're seeing on offense and really just powering through them offensively.
Well, NC State's going to try to get a little better here in set number 2. They won set 1, and they've got a mantra. They call it the 1%. It's part of their hashtag system, and it really represents the value system of the pack, and it represents really their belief about the opportunity to play any sport at this level. It's a dream to many, but not something that everyone can achieve. It reminds them how far they've come, and it also reminds them where they want to go and how they can continue to get better, even if it's 1% per day.
Exactly, I absolutely love that. It's 1% better in the gym, 1% better with mental health, on the court, as people, just 1% all the way around. It's a very holistic motto. I really, really like it.
One of the things I love most, and you mentioned the quote earlier from Luca Slebe, is that he said the sky is blue, the grass is green, and we aren't good enough yet. He even emphasized we all aren't good enough yet. And so when you're communicating with your players, always great to say, like, we all aren't good enough yet. We're all trying to be better. And again, just the chemistry of this Wolfpack team and their grit and their fight. I mean, you can see it in person. You can see it on your screens, I'm sure, as well. They're a lot of fun to watch.
And that's definitely one of the reasons they were able to take down Louisville. They have that fight and that grit and that passion. And it seems like it spreads throughout the whole team, including the coach.
Here we go. This could be a strong service run for the Wolfpack. Stokes induces the overpass, and here we go. Brizard cleans it up.
I think "here we go" is a great way to describe that. The technique is so sound. She's so technically sound with that. Like we said before, there's a large margin of error there, so you have to toss that perfect. You have to get the perfect snap, hit it at its highest point, and she's able to do all of that. I think she should get an assist on that, because then we had the overpass and the kill. And now Coach Poole trying to maybe ice her. Smart decision.
Madison, you stole my thunder. I was going to ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, can you rate how surprised you are that Chris Poole called timeout to ice Stokes right there?
Exactly. A great question. Not surprised at all. Stokes is so aggressive behind the service line, and like I said, it's a very exact serve. You have to hit it perfectly. So with calling the timeout, maybe you get her out of her rhythm. You try and steal some of that momentum that she just felt with that first serve.
And speaking of Stokes, she's a player that transferred in from West Virginia. This is an NC State team that largely has a lot of continuity and familiarity from a season ago. She's one of the new pieces to the puzzle for the Wolfpack, and it really wasn't an easy transition for her.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times that happens. You come into a new system. It's a completely new environment. But Coach said her swag calms the team down. I think that's a great way to say it. She's got swag with that serve. He said they've got a lot of intense people on the team, including himself, and she's kind of like that calm element that she provides to the team.
So she's taken a tough situation, made it look easy, and now she's going to try to spark a rally here for the Wolfpack. Late going set 2. They won set 1, 25-20. We go to best of 25 here in this set. First to 25, I should say, win by 2. And that's a good side out by the Seminoles. Audrey Rothman's been the hot hand here of late in this set.
Audrey Rothman has such a smooth swing. Like you see there, it's not choppy at all. It's very flowy. She was a member of the 2022 beach volleyball team that kind of helped with the entirety of her game, and she's just growing and growing every single match.
Broussard tips it over the block. Joust at the net. Florida State maintains possession. Snyder off the block and down, and the Noles lead by 5 once again.
And that right there is the advantage of a 6-2. Droskovic had 3 options right there on offense, and that also creates some chaos with NC State's block. They're holding, they're waiting, they're reading. They don't know who it's going to go to.
Out to the left pin, Broussard off of Corey Lewis's hand, then she dug it out of the net. Williams on the right pin, got the kill off the touch.
Williams just so powerful as an attacker, swinging all out. It looks like every chance she gets. Coach told us she's been trending upwards since day 1 due to this newfound desire to compete very hard, he said.
Yeah, he said that she's really done a tremendous job of taking ownership of everything she does, and that has been the catalyst to her becoming such a tremendous asset to this program. One-handed dig by Stokes. Broussard dug up by Filamaua. Both of these teams really turning things up defensively. Look at Bryant. Rice missed the sideline, nearly took out our cameraman, and Florida State moves 1 point closer.
For any young volleyball players who play defense and are watching this game, take notes of these 2 liberos going all out, lining up really well. Stokes and Kai, both with a highlight reel kind of play.
Send Audrey Rothman now back to serve. Quick set to the middle. There's a side out for NC State. Jada Allen puts it to the floor. And she, again, we talked about how efficient she is. She hasn't taken a whole ton of swings. Florida State's been keen on her. But what that does, if you've got a middle who can hit north of 400 and your opposing team is clued in on her, it opens up your pins and they can feast a little bit.
Exactly. She's so good at holding that block on her because the opposing teams, like you said, they know how efficient and effective and lethal she is, and that gives the pin hitters some daylight.
Service error, though, gives Florida State some more daylight as they close in on set 2, and Bryant sides out.
When Coach called Bryant fearless, I think that is the perfect word to describe her. Just powering through every single ball. It doesn't matter how big Maddie Snyder and Kiari Roby are on the other side of the net. She's going to power through that ball.
Both of these teams have run very clean offensive work here in this set. NC State hitting 317, and with that exclamation point, the Noles are hitting 486 and climbing.
Fire us up, Audrey Koenig. And credit to Droskovic right there. That was a quick set, timed out perfectly all the way to the pin. Audrey Koenig, so lethal when that set is in front of her.
Noles now hitting 500 for the set, 18 kills on 36 swings. They've arrived at set point. Bryant splits the blockers, and there's a side out for NC State. Kill number 7 for Courtney Bryant, second only to Ava Brizard, her fellow left pin. Naomi Cabello back to serve. Kiari Roby puts it to the floor, and after Florida State dropped set 1, 20-25. As we break the intermission and head into set 3, Florida State tweaking the rotation here, starting things off with Audrey Rothman serving. Jada Allen had it rejected. There's Corey Lewis in for the block.
Corey Lewis, just a massive blocking presence. She fronted Jada Allen very well, held on her and jumped up, and she's so tall, presses her arms so far over that net.
So it'll be Rothman, the sophomore, back to serve again. It's a good one, and the pass is tight, and NC State was in the net. I think they're going to call Kristen McDaniel for it. In fact, they will.
NC State only siding out at 25% right now in comparison to Florida State's 62. So there's a lot of disparity on that first side out as well.
Third serve from Rothman, again causing some problems. This time Courtney Bryant jammed up on serve receive. And now here comes Maddie Snyder, who had it rejected. Philomawa there to cover. Snyder again, nice up by Stokes. Rice cross court, nice up by Droskovic. Brizard cross court, that's down for the kill.
One of the things that makes Brizard so good is how quickly she transitions off the net so she can have that full approach, all her momentum moving forward. That really opens up the court for her.
Second contact dumped to the floor on Jelia Droskovic. I mentioned it earlier. I'm going to come back to it here, Madison, as we take a look at this replay. Her brilliance often understated. You mentioned the double-double against Miami, but a lot of folks don't realize is quietly she has 3 of those in the last 4 matches she's played.
Exactly. She's so good defensively as well, putting up over 120 digs on the season.
Snyder from the right pin. Side out by NC State.
That was a smart shot by Bryant. The setter-hitter connection wasn't totally there. The timing was a little bit off. She was a little bit in front of that ball, so all she did was roll shot to the open court. Great court vision by her.
Jada Allen sending it in. Service error by the middle blocker. Re-extends the lead to 2 for the Noles. Madison, how important is this set for NC State? You're tied 1 apiece. Certainly any set you play is big, especially when you're on the road, but when you're on the road, and Florida State's packed this gym pretty nicely here. They're loud. We just felt the floor vibrate quite literally on that last Jada Allen serve. They're getting into it. The Noles are playing well. it feels like this set is pivotal for the Wolfpack.
Exactly. Momentum is huge in volleyball throughout just everything in volleyball. Momentum is huge. So winning this set can bring them moving forward in a positive direction for the next set. So yes, it is huge.
Nice back set by Kenna Phelan to Sydney Conley, and Conley records the kill off the touch.
Kenna Phelan's mom is a coach, her coach from high school, so she's very technically sound and disciplined as a coach's kid.
Bryant up ahead to Cabello. Maddie Williams tips it across. Conley rolls it on a sharp angle. Here's Williams again. She had it rejected by Conley. And Florida State's block is really starting to heat up again here in this third set. We saw a flurry of blocks for both sides early on in the match. Second set was much more quiet in that department, but here we go again.
And Kiari Roby is that middle that can just shut down the net. Does such a good job working every single area of the net and closing that block.
Out to Williams. How about Roby? Florida State running the middle with Roby, and Chris Poole told us earlier this week that she and Kenna Phelan have really connected as newcomers and have run their connection quite well. You see it there as they lead by 4. NC State calls timeout, and we will as well. We'll rejoin the action after this.
It's bow time.
It's not just football season. It's tailgate season.
And this season includes every kind of football.
Tailgate like a legend with bold, hand-breaded chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits. Order your tailgate box in the Bojangles app. It's bow time.
With the Home Depot app, the tools to keep the job moving are always in reach. Need specialized equipment? Tool, truck, and equipment rentals are just a tap away. Working a tight schedule? Order with our app and have it delivered to the job site for free. Managing expenses? Use our app to easily track and earn your Pro Extra benefits. For doing that doesn't stop, download the Home Depot app. It's made for doing.
Bosch tools are built for workers. Bosch's powerful hammer drill has kickback control to help work go more smoothly when you need it. The 2-in-1 quickly changes between impact wrench and impact driver when you're slammed. And X-Lock switches wheels up to 5 times faster than standard grinders when you need to change tasks in a hurry. Bosch tools take care of the job and you. Bosch tools, what hard workers deserve. Learn more at BoschTools.com.
We took a look at NC State's season profile earlier in the broadcast, and we'll take a look at Florida State's now. They're 11-6. They were 6-6 in non-conference play. So for a team picked T4 in the ACC preseason poll, them co-leading with Pitt is something of a surprise for folks maybe outside of Tallahassee. But if you ask Chris Poole and the Noles, this is the kind of thing they were expecting all along. I don't know if they were expecting that much heat from Maddie Williams, though. That's a nice swing by NC State's opposite.
Yeah, leave it to Maddie Williams to come in out of that timeout and try and fire up her team.
6 kills for Williams. Florida State setting their own opposite, Sydney Conley. Broussard had to wait on the set. And it'll find the floor anyway.
Broussard with so much power behind every single swing, tooling that block. Florida State's defense pretty scrappy, just not able to get it over the net. Broussard leading her team in kills and second in digs, so an all-around superstar for NC State.
Rothman off the block, played up by Stokes. Here's Broussard once again. Broussard a third time. And Conley rolls it into the tape.
The defense is the story right here. So solid on both sides. And there we see Broussard, 10 kills, hitting .357. And as an outside, that is a fantastic efficiency number.
Chiari Roby out of the middle. Stokes with the up, Brizard with the heat. She hammers it to the floor, and we are knotted up at 7. The Pack are on a 4-0 run.
Brizard with all of that range. Something that I love that Coach Slebe said. He said, if volleyball is problem solving, then the question is how many tools do we have to solve the problem? And she's expanded her toolbox, Brizard has.
Brizard again, why not?
Brizard is on fire right now. Florida State's block just getting tooled left and right. There's a little bit of timing or a lining up error there because Brizard is just taking advantage, swiping it off the hands of a usually very sound Chiari Roby and Sydney Conley.
No time like the present to take a look at this red and black, what's looking like a freight train at this point, named Ava Brizard. It has been an onslaught here today.
And it's the passion too. It's the skill level, the range, and then look at her firing up her team. Such a leader out there. Only a sophomore, but leading her team, just painting lines left and right.
And so there she is in the NC State huddle. And somewhere here in this gym are likely her parents and her brother Drew. Now again, she hails from Michigan. Interestingly enough, her family moved to Raleigh just this past year, and it's been a big help for her, largely because her brother Drew, who happens to be autistic, has benefited so much from his relationship with Ava, and Ava has benefited so much from just her connection and her bond with her brother. It's been a source of inspiration for her to see her family not just in Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh, but in gyms all across the conference and the country. And certainly in light of what she's doing here today, wherever they are here in Tully Gym, they've got to be very proud.
Exactly, you know they're proud of her. Family is everything, and having that support system really is so advantageous to these student athletes.
And so it's Brizard and the Wolfpack on a 5-0 run. They trailed by 4. Lucas LeBay called an early timeout. They're on a 5-0 run again here now. They lead by 1. Florida State's called the timeout, and they desperately want to put an end to this. Cabello shoves it over. Conley. She was eaten up by Brizard over there, and she gets a little come-uppance, splitting the blockers, tipping it to the floor, and we're knotted up at 8.
Kind of feeling doing a really good job spreading out that offense, and then Shock just a little late on that block, causing the tool.
Tight pass, and Shock tips it over the block. That's a smart shot, good vision of the court by the veteran middle.
Great court vision. That area of the court is usually open, so as a Florida State defender, you want to crash in the second you see her drop her shoulder and open up her hand, because you know she's going to tip.
A very tight third set. It started off nothing like that. But now here we are, a 1-point set and an overpass that guess who cleans up? Ava Brizard once again.
Brizard ablazing, and that starts with the serve. Such an aggressive server Stokes is, giving Brizard that opportunity to be absolutely lethal at the net.
The Pack have won 6 of the last 7 points to lead this set by 2. It'll be Stokes to serve it in again. Back set Conley, rejected. Florida State keeps it. Here's Rothman down the line. Brizard off the block. Florida State will be out of system here. Nice set to Conley, who rips it down the line. That is playable for NC State. Wow, Stokes, a couple of real heads-up plays. Once again, Florida State out of system. Phelan was forced to take the first ball. Koenig did everything she could to get it up on second contact, but the Noles, quite simply, Madison ran out of room on the pin.
Exactly, and with such long rallies, it makes sense towards the end of it. You start to get a little sloppier. You really desperately want to finish that rally, and sometimes mistakes like that happen.
second extended run in the last 11 points for NC State. Bump set to Brizard, and wow. It has been the Ava Brizard show here in set number 3.
We're only in the third set, and she has 13 kills. That number is so high. She's definitely NC State's go-to.
She's recorded as many as 14 kills in a 3-set match. We're not going to have a 3-set match here, but it gives you an idea of how many kills she can record in a very tight window. And we take a look at her kills per set and her points per set. Both rank in the top 10 of the ACC. Notably, 3.5 kills per set. She is, well, she is right there at that number in this one. Actually exceeding that, closer to 4 per set here against the Noles. She's been fantastic.
And that ACC ranking is really impressive because we talk about how strong the ACC is with Pitt and Georgia Tech and Louisville and Florida State and Miami and all of these teams. So that high of a ranking in a conference that is this strong is very impressive.
Now keep in mind, I was just looking through NC State's notes here. Her 14 kills in a 3-set match are a program high this season. Amanda Rice has the program high for 4-setters and 5-setters, both with 18 kills. So 18 kills is the most anybody for NC State has recorded in a match this season. She's got 14, and we still have another set and a half to go.
Oh, wow, yep, so she's definitely on the verge of breaking that record.
What a response by the Wolfpack. It shows that fight that they take such pride in. Good start. Florida State responded well in set 2, and it has been, despite an early run by the Noles, to get things started here on the backside of the intermission. All pack of late until Corey Lewis put that ball down and trimmed the lead down to 3.
Corey Lewis is very hard to read because she has so much range, and this was just a quick crossbody swing. She approaches very lined up, very straight, and then just crossbody to that cross court, and it's so sharp and down, it's very difficult to dig.
Set to get back underway, lead down to 3. Angelia Draskovic in to serve. And that is exactly what Florida State was looking for. They've got undoubtedly their best server in doing one of the things. I'm not even gonna say it's the thing she does best. She does a lot of things really well. But the thing she does as well as anybody on the team, and this could be a strong service run for the Noles, we'll see.
Exactly, she's leading the team in aces.
Joust at the net. Opportunity for the Noles. Yep, there's Snyder through the seam.
Snyder through the seam of the block. Just a freshman, but so effective out there. Actually just sneaking it to the left of Brizard, avoiding that block so well.
Brizard looking to side out, looking for a touch call, and she'll get it. And if she didn't get it, Lucas LeMay had the challenge card ready. Then he looked up and saw they got the point, and he put it back down.
Yep, he knew. He's zoned in.
Kristen McDaniel serves it in. Rothman had it rejected, but out of play. So as hard as that swing was, as far as that ball traveled, that'll go down as a kill where she tooled the block. Even though I think a lot of times when you think of somebody tooling the block, it falls on the near side. That was quite emphatic. Deep float, too deep.
NC State so efficient and effective when they're in system. Rothman trying to push the serve-receive line back in order to keep them not on the net and as efficient as they've been.
Snyder. Dug over. She'll try again. There you go. Maddie Snyder asserting herself here in set number 3 for the Noles.
Snyder, the freshman that does not play like a freshman. She does such a good job seeing the block, feeling the block, and then hitting around it.
It appears the Noles have weathered the storm. They're back in it here, and there's a block, Audrey Koenig.
An absolute wall. Koenig, who touches 10-8, throwing her long arms up there, pressing over the net, and then angling her palms into the court, just stuffing that ball.
Rice induces the overdig. Bryant off the block and down. What an impressive swing by Courtney Bryant.
Courtney Bryant with a ton of power right there. Great set by Kristen McDaniel. Such good situational awareness, feeling the block and setting away from it.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned Kristen McDaniel a whole heck of a lot in this match, but she has been quietly oh so solid for NC State for a number of years. An attack error by Maddie Snyder puts another point in the Pax column. They lead now by 2. To the left pin and Audrey Koenig.
We talk about range a lot. Audrey Koenig is one of those players who has all of it, just cranking that ball down the line, going for it deep, so it caught Kristen McDaniel up a little high. Great swing by Koenig.
This has been an incredibly fun match. As the float serve drops in, that's a nice swing by Schock. A quick to the middle, and she puts it down off the block.
Kristen McDaniel going down to her knees to set that ball. That was such an athletic set by her.
Two-point lead for NC State. Koenig off speed, it finds the floor. All-out effort by Naomi Cabello trying to pancake it, nearly did, but it's point Koenig and the Noles.
Koenig with 12 kills on 17 attempts, hitting over 700.
Those are not normal numbers for an outside hitter.
Nope.
The
and
kills
had 10
maybe.
digs. Yeah, the kills, but the hitting efficiency is as elite as it comes.
Big block, that'll drop, and Florida State is tied it.
Yari Roby really finding her stride, but she has been such a solid blocker for a very long time. A transfer from Oregon and led her team last year in blocks, and now coming here and doing the same at Florida State.
4 blocks in this set alone for Florida State. They've got 7 in the match. Rothman rolls it. Williams off the block and down. Maddie Williams with her 7th kill of the match.
Maddie Williams has such a long approach, and both team setters doing a really good job at placing that ball perfectly on the net.
Both teams hitting 290 here in set number 3. I think we'll see a double contact called here. Yep.
You don't see that very often, especially with how elite these setters are. And sometimes the double happens when you're moving around a lot, high pressure situations. Sometimes it just happens.
Could this be the breathing room NC State needs? The lead at 2, now it's at 1. Kiari Roby sides out immediately for the Noles.
Kiari Roby coming off of 12 kills and hitting 455 against Miami, so she's definitely on a roll. Just a great little quick jump back set. And it's such a quick set, Roby was able to tool the block.
9 ties, 2 lead changes to this point in the match. How about Riley Schock heating up?
Riley Schock, more of a defensive weapon for NC State usually, but this game she has been so offensive and dynamic up there.
5 kills now on 6 swings for Riley Schock, hitting north of 800 in the match. Stokes over the back. I've never attempted a jump topspin, but I can imagine that it's got to be difficult when you've got adrenaline pumping through your body in a tight situation like this to find the floor.
Exactly. I said it before, but it's such a technical serve. Everything has to be on. You have to hit it at its highest point. You have to have the toss. So if everything's not perfect, it's easy to err.
And on the other side of things, Angelia Draskovic with a service error of her own. And I mentioned that not as a knock on Stokes. I mean, if that's what you do, you got to do it. But I was just saying, tip the cap, because that is a tight situation. And wow, she gave it a run.
Exactly. It's a very brave serve. You have to appreciate her going for it every single time back there.
Kristen McDaniel rotates in. Here's Maddie Snyder off the block. And that is a smart shot by Ava Brizard, tooling the block. And could that be a pivotal point for NC State? Their lead is teetered between 1 and 2. The Noles have tied it a couple of times here in this set, but now they have a 3-point lead late. Make it 2.
And now if you're NC State, you want to side out quick. You want the perfect pass. A quick set. You've got big block on the other side. Really want to side out fast.
We're not quite there yet, but something else to keep an eye on. This has been a particularly tight set. If this goes a little bit longer, substitutions could be a question. Amanda Rice doesn't even want to consider that. That's a nice swing down the right pin by Rice.
Running around the whole court and then seeing Audrey Koenig in front of her, swinging down that line, avoiding the block. So impressive with so much range.
First 2 sets were won 25-20. NC State won the first, Florida State won the second. We're gonna get more than that out of this set though. We're 23-21.
And this is what happens when both teams are so elite. The side out percentage is really efficient and effective. Both teams siding out really well right now.
And to that point, both teams hitting north of 300 in this set. NC State's gonna call a timeout.
One thing that Coach LeBay said about his team, he said, maybe we're not the tallest or the fastest, but we don't quit. And right now, in the red zone, this is a time where your team doesn't need to quit. Keep pressing forward, and Coach LeBay says they do that really, really well.
And something else I think is interesting, we talked about the fight NC State showed against Miami. They ended up losing it in 5, but we don't want to lose sight of the fact that Florida State had their backs against the wall against the Hurricanes as well, down 2 sets to 1. And then when you add in what they did in set 4 and 5 and you average it out, they hit roughly 500 in sets 4 and 5 to win that match 3-2 over Miami.
Wow, I mean, those numbers are so impressive, and that was led by Audrey Koenig with those 24 kills, hitting 425. Multiple players on that Florida State team hitting over 400. What a time to pop off. Trying to come back and beat Miami to move to 5-0 moving into today's game.
And so there you see it. NC State lost in 5 to Miami in Coral Gables on Friday. Florida State found a way on Wednesday. The Noles want to stay undefeated in conference play and have their longest streak since 2015. NC State's looking for their best start to the season since 2012. We've called the Wolfpack gritty. We've called the Seminoles gritty. I think you're seeing that both certainly fit the billing. Somebody's going to win set 3 here in not too long a time. Wolfpack looking to get to set point, and they might just do it. Rothman tracks it down, but could not get it up ahead to her teammates. And here come the Pack, trying to go up 2-1 on the road here in Tully Gym. It'll be Jada Allen back to serve. Allen does have one ace already in this match. And Florida State sides out. That is 1 set point saved. And still at least one more in the balance.
And you've got to appreciate that aggressive swing from Maddie Snyder. With the set in the balance, she still decides to swing aggressively and go for it.
Kenna Phelan rotates in and will serve for the Noles. Short float. Bryant. NC State's lobbying for a touch call. Riley Schock doing the majority of it. Stokes to remember her dad, Jonathan. She's going to continue to honor him as best as she can, and she might just do so with a win over the Noles here today. Corey Lewis, on the other hand, knows that this is a set the Noles must win. It's first to 25, win by 2. Noles have to win this one, and if they want to stay undefeated in conference play, they've got to win the 5th, which is first to 15, win by 2. Jada Allen out of the middle, so both middle blockers getting in on the act early. At least relative here to set number 4.
Jada Allen hitting .423 on the season, very efficient. A lot of power behind every one of her swings.
Had to correct myself there. We've been going a little while, but it's been a lot of fun throughout. Audrey Koenig wins the joust, and Florida State inches ahead 2-1. I mentioned as we started set 3, Madison, that NC State was the tough luck loser of set 2. They hit .333. Usually when you hit like that, you're going to win the set. They lost it by 5. Well, Florida State hit .343 in set 3 and lost it by 3.
High-level volleyball being played here today.
There's Courtney Bryant. She has upped her level here today as well. She, along with Ava Brizard, have really paced the offense for the Pack.
A great set, well-timed, and then Courtney Bryant coming in, powering through that ball to the deep corner, hitting so aggressively, even with that big block in front of her. Coach said that that's something that she does. She doesn't care who's on the other side of the net.
And there's a service ace. I'll tell you, Madison, I watched the Louisville match, and it's hard to tell what from NC State you could be most impressed with, whether it was the grit and the tenacity, the ability to dig tough balls in the back row, the service pressure they applied to the Cardinals, how strong they were at the net, and they continue to play that way despite the service error there by Jada Allen. She's got a couple of aces to offset them.
Exactly, it's a tightrope that you walk. You have to be aggressive. You've got to go for your serve. You really don't want to miss, but sometimes when you're getting that many aces, missing comes naturally, and it's okay because you're balancing that out, like you said, with the ace.
McDaniel with the back set. There's a nice block by the Noles. They had 4 blocks in set number 3, more than doubled up their total for the match. And there's another one early here in this 4th set.
That was a really deceptive play, great set, but Koenig and Roby just manning the net, doing a really good job tracking the ball and following it.
So once again, Florida State leads by 1. There haven't been a ton of big leads. That one found the end line. Courtney Bryant.
Courtney Bryant, her 13th kill of the night, hitting over 300. She's got such a long approach, and then she really does have a high jump and a high reach. Just touching the tip of Florida State's block.
She's coming off her career high 15 kills against the Canes a couple of nights ago, and quickly reaching that number here against the Noles today. Went off speed there. Another effort by Bryant, dug up by Filamawa. Koenig, dug up by Bryant. Here she is again with the roll shot. Florida State's going to be out of system here. Roby out of the middle. Nice rally here. Conley with the block, and there's another one for the Noles. Madison, Chris Poole told us roughly a couple of weeks ago, as we take a look at this diving effort by Kenna Phelan, that particular to the blocking, he said, it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working, so we changed some things, and the block has come alive in ACC play.
Block has definitely come alive. Florida State looking very comfortable at the net, really doing a good job with their eye work and tracking that ball. Gotta love a good solo block.
That one dug up into the ceiling and onto NC State's side of the net. Well, that's a way to manufacture a point.
NC State coaching staff not happy with that. Thinking maybe they thought it touched the roof at some point, but that was just a very confusing play. You don't see that happen very often where it's up that high that it's going through the rafters, whatever is up there. That's definitely a confusing play for sure.
To Lucas LeBay, and a yellow card issued to the Wolfpack. Not often you see yellow cards issued in volleyball, but we have one here.
Coach LeBay not happy with that ruling at all. But the Florida State fans cheering at that yellow card. This is a tough place to play.
6-4 lead for the Seminoles. And there's Maddie Williams signing out.
I'm very impressed by NC State's offense, how spread out it is. Maddie Williams kind of in a one-on-one situation there and just took advantage of it.
8 kills in the match for Maddie. Bryant got a kiss off the tape. Florida State sets Roby. Williams! Whoa, what a swing!
Williams from the left, Williams from the right. Williams is everywhere across this net, out of system swing, just straight down. And you know, the right side is way different than the outside. You have to let that ball cross your body. It's more difficult to attack, and she did a great job right there.
Overpass, upped by Schock. Williams tipping it. Well then. Ava Brizard once again. Sky Stokes will get the assist. And NC State is leading 7-6 on a 3-0 run. Florida State's having trouble on their serve-receive passes. Credit Kenna Phelan, though, for making the most of that and setting her middle, Kiari Roby.
Exactly, that's your job as a setter. No matter what the first contact looks like, you have to clean it up and provide a solid set for your attackers to get the point. Nice quick little back set by Kenna to Kiari.
Interesting here, Kiari Roby's been a strong server for the Seminoles. Chris Poole and company opting to rotate her off the floor and bring in Ella Gaona. Brizard sides out immediately, and I don't say that as a knock on Gaona. She's been strong as a server as well, but I didn't necessarily see that Kiari Roby had dropped off to bring in Gaona instead.
It was a good serve by Gaona, very flat, but Brizard just having herself a night with 18 kills, hitting 375. Those are fantastic numbers for an outside.
Here comes the jump topspin, and Gaona passes it over. Now that's a nice dig by the freshman. Zarn tips it over. Phelan digs it up, and Rothman shoves it out of play. Boy, I'll tell you what, Gaona did a real nice job there, digging up the ball after the initial overpass. And then two Seminoles tried to set the same ball, and that's where things unraveled for the Noles.
Yeah, but then you have to appreciate Kenna Phelan's defense. She's so scrappy with those quick twitch digs.
Good run for the Wolfpack, and there it goes. High risk, high reward. And Stokes' service error gives Florida State a much-needed point. Again, the Noles must win this set to force a fifth and to have a chance to remain undefeated in conference play alongside the Pitt Panthers. For NC State, what a win would mean. Their RPI already impressive as Florida State's block asserts itself yet again. And you never know. Things are starting to separate themselves here in the ACC. We'll talk about that in a second. Madison, I'm not sure if Florida State got hands on that ball or if the ball was just hitting to the tape. Either way, same result.
Exactly. I'm not sure either, but their presence was there.
Quick set to the middle. Jada Allen knocks it over. And it took 4 contacts for FSU to get the ball back.
Jada Allen leading her team in blocks. Such a presence up there at the net. She doesn't guess. She's reading and reacting every single play, and that's what makes her so special.
Kristen McDaniel back to serve. It's a good one. Filimauer sets Rothman, and Rothman lets it fly. There's those setter hands from Kai Filimauer and the power of Audrey Rothman on display.
Kai Filimauer, an all-around superstar, gonna play beach for the Seminoles. Came in as an outside hitter, had to step up as a libero, has played the setter position. She does it all.
Don't forget, we've seen a couple of libero kills in this match, one for each side. We've truly seen a little bit of everything in this match as Brizard sides out.
Brizard does a good job timing out that approach. And then tons of passion, big reaction out of her, as she should, hitting 390.
Snyder off the edge of the block. Here's Rice tight to the net. Snyder now shoves it to the back corner. Whoa, Stokes flew in from out of nowhere and kept that rally alive. There she is again. Bryant tips it to the middle of the floor, and you can credit Sky Stokes for that.
I cannot give enough credit to Sky Stokes. She is putting on an absolute display on defense. I said it before, but any younger libero players out there watching this game, watch Sky Stokes, how well she reads and tracks the ball. So impressive.
2-point lead for the Pack, who are looking to close it out in 4, but there's Audrey Koenig, who has other plans.
Audrey Koenig does a good job hitting in between 2 defenders right there, deep to the back corner.
Kylene Filimauer will serve it in. Allen out of the middle. Quality pass and set and swing. That is offense to perfection.
And that is the perfect pass to set the middle. Nice and tight right there. Jada comes right to her setter, snaps on that ball, is able to hit away from the block so well.
And now Allen goes back to serve herself. Snyder off the block, and that'll find the floor. Florida State back within 1.
Maddie Snyder has just been growing and growing and growing so much. We've seen her development so much throughout the season. Just a freshman, but playing with a lot of maturity. A lot of the reason why she got here in the spring, so she's had time to build that foundation and add some layers to her game.
Bryant looking down the line at point Florida State, and we're tied at 13. Bryant again, my goodness, the sound of that swing and that hit on the ball, Lucas LeBay told us himself she can thump the volleyball. I'd say so.
I'd say so too, and sometimes you can tell how good a swing is by the sound it makes when the hand hits the ball, and we could tell right there. Pow!
1 point lead for the Wolfpack as we near the mid-set media timeout. Sydney Conley has it blocked, and that should take us to the midway point of set 4. A 2-point lead for the NC State Wolfpack, who are looking to come on the road and win in 4 here in Tallahassee.
It's bow time.
It's not just football season. It's tailgate season.
And this season includes every kind of football.
Tailgate like a legend with bold, hand-breaded chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits. Order your tailgate box in the Bojangles app. It's bow time.
Okay, again, this is a status bar, this is a search bar. Let's know the difference, okay? Social media. It can be overwhelming for a young homeowner turning into their parents.
Now, what does it mean to slide into someone's DMs? Because it sounds like a lot of fun.
Okay, we're not ready for that. As a team, we'll get there. It might be a fruit emoji, but that doesn't mean they're talking about fruit.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto with us.
Okay, do you really think we need 47 photos of fun dinner at Pam's?
Yes.
No.
Your first home sees a lot of firsts. From first loves to first steps. Sure, it can be a handful at times, keeping you up at night.
Come on now.
But with help from the Home Depot, you'll find the confidence to create the first place you call your own. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Two-point lead for NC State here in set 4 in Tallahassee. The Pack potentially closing in on winning this match on the road in 4 and dropping the Noles from the ranks of the undefeated in ACC play. Short float serve in. Yari Roby tips it out of the middle, and Florida State is back within a point.
Kenna Phelan and Kiari Roby, that setter-hitter connection is very on for them. They've been smoothing it out throughout the season, and it's really clicking here. Great 3-set, and such good court awareness by Roby.
Koenig serves it in. Had a service ace against Miami, and also has her 4th consecutive double-double. Rothman will try again and find the floor. We're tied at 15.
You gotta love it, going right back to Rothman, giving her another chance, and Rothman delivering to that deep corner. Great set by Kenna. Solid swing by Rothman as they tie it up.
Maddie Williams had it blocked. NC State keeps it up. Second effort, Williams off the edge of the block, played up by Kai Filamau. Rothman, cross court, and the Noles lead.
Show us some range, Rothman. Wow, such a sharp swing. Nobody near that ball.
Timeout, NC State.
Coach Poole said Rothman is like a little Audrey Koenig, just a little younger, 3 semesters behind, excuse me, but just like a little mini-me. So good out there on the pin.
And they said sometimes they have to tell her, like, hey, yes, you're very good, but you're also not as experienced. Even though you would like to think you've been here a while, you are not there yet. You will soon be there, and you can see the elements where she is refining, she is growing leaps and bounds. And I mean, Madison, we talked about her being out for 5 matches due to concussion protocol. And in the 3 that she's played since, she's been double figures in kills every single time. Had a double-double in her return against North Carolina. Had 7 more digs against Duke and went 12-5 against Miami. She has not looked rusty at all.
Wow, I mean, those numbers are so impressive. Coming off of being out, see there, 12 kills and 5 digs against Miami. You know, she touches 10-6, but Coach Poole believes the weight room and age, that'll just add to her vertical, and that's just going to make her that much better as she ages and has more time in the Florida State weight room.
And so as it stands, Rothman and the Noles lead set 4 by 1. It's a set they must win to force a 5th. NC State very much still in position to close this match out in 4 as we resume the action. Noles are on a 3-0 run. It's Audrey Koenig back to serve. That's a nice kiss off the tape. Bryant from the right pin has equaled her career high of 15 kills here today, and the Noles keep the rally rolling.
Roby's so smart up there, such good court awareness and vision. Sometimes all it takes is the tip. NC State's defense may be expecting the swing and not able to get the dig.
Maddie Williams puts an end to the Noles run. Who else but number 1, who has been their hot hand over the last couple of weeks? Lucas LeBay even said she has been fantastic.
And she's been fantastic, like you said, for so long. It's just that consistent energy, the consistent numbers she brings to this team.
He floated too far. Point to the Noles. And now here they come, closing in on that vaunted red zone. Point 20 to 25. They're 2 points away from it, and they've got a 2-point lead as Ella Gaona checks in once again for Kiari Roby. Brizard found the end line. That's kill number 21 in this match for Ava Brizard, who's also hitting over 400. That's a new career high, exceeding the 20 she recorded last year against Sam Houston State.
Wow, have yourself a career high day, Brizard. She's so good, coming in looking like she's gonna swing angle and then just turning it down the line, so deceptive.
Here's Sky Stokes. Great serve. Handled well by Koenig. And a chance for the Noles. Back set by Filamawa to Rothman. It's not that easy, folks.
I mean, Kai Filamawa with the jump back set. She's so technically sound. She's so athletic. She can do everything. That was a well-placed set, and Rothman just ate it up.
5th assist of the match for Kylene Filamawa, the 2022 Washington Gatorade Player of the Year in high school, 1 year after missing a season due to an ACL injury. Brizard off her career high, looking for another. Snyder looking through the seam. Did she get it down? Yes.
And it's looking like Coach is... No. Coach wanted to challenge.
And he'll call timeout instead. He's going to hang on to the challenge. He was successful in his challenge at the end of set 3, so he still has 2. And here late in set 4, you can use it, lose it, and get it right back if you go to a 5th, but he chooses not to. A lot of times, Madison, you see the coaches defer to the players, and it looked like the players weren't all that sure that it wasn't in to begin with.
Exactly. It's great when you see a coach trust his or her players so much. Brizard just shook her head and said she thought it was out, and he let it go.
And on the other side of things, Chris Poole and the Seminoles are looking to go 5 and win in 5 in consecutive matches this week. And if they're going to do so, Audrey Rothman will certainly be a huge part in it. She has been the hot hand of late here for the Noles.
Audrey Rothman, 10 kills. Definitely the hot hands here. You see her with a nice long approach. She has such a smooth swing. We talked about her being out a little bit with concussion protocol, but she came back fired up, as consistent and aggressive as ever, not letting that slow her down. She's got the range, she's got the height. Florida State gonna look to lean on her as they try and close out this set.
6 digs to go along with those 10 kills, and for both teams, it's been their left pins who have paced them. 24 of Florida State's 55 kills have come from Audrey Koenig and Audrey Rothman. Meanwhile, for NC State, 36 of their 63 have come from Ava Brizard and Courtney Bryant. And so here we go. It'll be Angelia Draskovic to serve it in. Knowles leading by 3 in a must-win set. Brizard off the block and out of the reach of Audrey Koenig. A career day for Ava Brizard continues to get better.
Ava Brizard, not the tallest pin hitter, but just flying through the air, super high vertical, and able to hit high hands off of the blocker. 22 kills, career high for Brizard here.
Rothman. Brizard up off the block. It remains with the Wolfpack. And that was into the antenna. I'm not sure Lucas LeBay is very convinced. Neither is Ava Brizard, who said no, that wasn't in the antenna. He hasn't made the move for the challenge card yet, asking for clarification from both James Phillips and Joya Teeter. He's content with the explanation, and we're going to play on here. Florida State leading by 3. Make it 4. A timely ace by guess who?
Audrey Rothman. We've been saying her name a lot these past few minutes. Coming up big defensively, offensively. 10 kills, and now with the ace, when it counts, Florida State nearing 25.
NC State has won the odd sets in this match. Florida State looking to claim both of the evens as Brizard goes cross court. Got a touch, and it found the corner as well. Even without the touch, that looked good.
I mean, perfectly to that deep corner. No defenders are back there. You see them, they're both a little shallow. And Brizard just taking advantage of that corner.
Snyder swatted back by Allen. Second effort off the top of the block. Leoniak checks in for the first time in the match. One of the leading scorers from a season ago, Martina Leoniak, seeing her first action late in set 4. An attack error by the Knowles tightens things up a bit. 2-point lead, 22-20 for the Garnet and Gold. Brizard serves it in. Lewis puts it down with authority.
Florida State counts on Lewis to come up big in high-pressure situations because she's very confident, calm, cool, and collected to get that kill when it matters here with 2 points left in the set, hopefully, for the Seminoles.
One of the most efficient and elite hitters in the country, Corey Lewis, hitting nearly 500 on the season. Rice had it rejected. Wolfpack have to scramble. There's Florida State's block coming alive again. Rice now off the top of it. Filamaua crashes in. Florida State wins the joust for the moment. And here's Leoniak rolling it over the block. Koenig tools it. Big time kill and a big time moment. And the Knowles are on the doorstep of equaling this match 2 sets all.
Kai Filamaua, a Superman, laying out, diving dig, and then Koenig tooling high hands off the block. Great defense from both teams, and that's why these plays and rallies are going on for so long.
How fun has this match been? Filamaua to serve it in on set point. Leoniak lets it fly. Florida State's block was ready. Second effort off the block, played up by Rothman. Koenig seals it for the Seminoles, and we will play 5 in Tully. Buckle up tight, pop some popcorn. Away we go. Audrey Rothman sends it in for the Knowles. Ava Brizard. She has been an absolute stud on the left pin for the Wolfpack. They lead 1-0.
It's the power and aggression behind every single swing. She takes nothing off of it every single time. Her 24th kill of the night.
How bad do you want it? Who do you go to? So many questions, and we're gonna unravel a lot of them here. Koenig, cross court, did it miss? No, it caught the sideline, says James Phillips. And Lucas Slebe will not challenge it. He appealed directly to him, and he being James Phillips, assured Slebe that it was in, and that's a good call by the up.
Now Audrey Koenig just painting that line.
Both teams got a challenge here in the fifth. NC State already had two, Florida State back at it. Here's Maddie Snyder off the block, and now Jada Allen was in the net trying to dig it out.
Maddie Snyder's been so good for the Seminoles ever since she arrived in Tallahassee.
Filamawa to serve it in. Courtney Bryant lets it fly from the left pin. McDaniel races underneath it. Bryant again. Filamawa with the set to Audrey Koenig. McDaniel gets it across. Somehow Sky Stokes sends it over. NC State still alive until AK number 4 in white crashes another volleyball to the floor.
Look at this play. Sky Stokes giving every single thing she has. But then Audrey Koenig saying, nope, not today, good effort, but I'm gonna swing at this ball and get the kill.
To the right side, Snyder. Florida State will look for a touch call. They will not get it. Point to the Wolfpack.
That set was just a little off the net. So Maddie Snyder had to slow down her approach and kind of stutter step there and didn't have all her momentum moving forward.
Well, we've got a second. In the fourth set, Florida State hit 412. NC State 302. Both teams hitting around 300, or in Florida State's case, 350 for the match. What a high-quality volleyball match this has been. Rice from the right pin off the block, played up by Rothman. Here's Koenig transitioning, but a huge block by Riley Shaw and Amanda Rice. Did that get inside the block?
It did, it did. That was Florida State's point. Koenig just powering through the block, not totally pressed well enough. And really that started with Audrey Rothman just being so good at defense with that long reach, digging that ball.
So tip the cap to Audrey Rothman. A one-handed dig kept the Noles in the point. And her Audrey counterpart on the left pin got inside the block, and there's no getting inside that block by the Noles. They had 3 in the first set. They've had a whole handful in sets 4 and now set 5.
It's Florida State strong and early here in the fifth, leading 5-2, looking to close this one out. We're going to 15, but we'll be right back.
It's bow time.
It's not just football season. It's tailgate season.
And this season includes every kind of football.
Tailgate like a legend with bold hand-breaded chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits. Order your tailgate box in the Bojangles app. It's bow time.
Get ready for hosting at the Home Depot with free delivery on over 2 million items every day. So you can refresh your space before Santa or the family comes to town. Get holiday ready with savings at the Home Depot.
How good does it feel when Threshold Decor welcomes more seasonal style for less? When you can save on Good and Gather groceries and all the fall flavors. And when quality ingredients bring more to the table. When you get low prices on the latest trends. When rewards come with quality and coziness. And when you're serving up taste they love at low prices. That's totally Target.
Desperately need to talk to your insurance company when you're having one of the worst days of your life.
What do people do at a time like this?
Sometimes you just want to talk to someone, a person, not a robot or a recording or an app. Oh, sure, we have all that stuff.
By Friday.
But on a day like that,
just like that,
that phone line can end up feeling like a lifeline.
Thank you so much for listening.
At a time like that, you want a company like West Bend, because the worst brings out our best.
We welcome you back to a fifth set tiebreak between NC State and Florida State. Kenna Phelan serving, and the Wolfpack were in the net. A tough serve had the Wolfpack out of system, and I don't even know if I should say out of system because they got the ball to Kristen McDaniel, but she went into the net to get it, so effectively the same result.
Exactly. That pass just a little too tight. A great aggressive serve by the freshman Kenna Phelan.
6-2 Seminoles. Much better pass on serve receive, and Amanda Rice is the beneficiary. That ends a 3-0 run for the Noles.
Amanda Rice a little quieter than usual tonight. That's only her 7th kill. She's hitting under 100, but all that matters right now for NC State is this final set.
Naomi Cabello serves it in, and it's a strong serve at that. There's Stokes with the dig. Cabello with a back bump up to Bryant, but faced with a double block, she had nowhere to go with it. She dumps the attack straight into the net. Boy, that's tough. I think in a perfect world, you'd love to see her try to tip that ball over the block, but she really didn't have a whole lot of great options there.
Yeah, exactly. That was a tough one, being so far off the net.
Cabello on the run. NC State's passing has been a bit of a problem in the 5th, but that's fine right there. A timely side out that keeps them within 3.
Naomi Cabello on the run with the bump set, still very nice and controlled in front of Madison Williams, who has a nice long approach and is able to power through that ball.
A crowd pretty close to capacity, and the whole house is hopping here at Tully Gym. Sydney Conley from the right pin, kept up by Stokes. Maddie Williams had it rejected by Audrey Rothman, and Florida State has doubled up the pack. They'll switch sides with NC State heading to the right, the Noles to the left.
Audrey Rothman read that ball really well. She saw her shoulder, she saw she wanted to crank it down that line. She dove her arms into that seam and just shut it down.
So here we go. It'll be Ella Gaona into serve. Double contact. They're going to call Naomi Cabello for double contact. It's the right call, and Florida State leads 9-4. Timeout, NC State.
LeBay not totally happy with the serve receive right now. The setters are having to run out of system, having to really crank to get those balls where they need to be on the net. They've got to clean it up on serve receive.
And so as we speed toward the midway point in this 5th set, no time like the present to revisit what Florida State's done in 5 setters. I mentioned the loss to Florida. They are 3-0, however, in 5 setters in ACC play. They opened up ACC play in Blacksburg and took that match in 5 over the Hokies of Virginia Tech. And then I referenced their last 2 matches against Duke and Miami, winning each of those in 5 sets. So again, if you're just flipping on this match and people told you to, well then owe them a big thanks because it's been a lot of fun. But I'll revisit the point. This is Florida State's 3rd consecutive 5-setter. NC State, this is their 2nd straight 5-setter. And we'll revisit also what's at stake. NC State looking for their best start to the season since 2012. Florida State looking for their best start to conference play since 2015. They're looking to go a perfect 6-0 through the first several weekends.
And, you know, this speaks to how in shape the Florida State Seminoles are and NC State. Both teams have done multiple 5-setters. Florida State, their last 2 matches have been 5-setters, and they're able to stay in it. They don't look tired. Both teams playing at such a high efficiency, such a high level.
Gaona serves it in once more. Better pass, and another double contact. Oh my goodness. goodness.
It's just silly errors that we didn't see NC State making until this 5th set.
Earlier this afternoon, Pittsburgh defeated Clemson in straight sets at Fitzgerald Fieldhouse to improve to 6-0. And if Florida State can hang on to this 6-point lead here in set 5, they will join them. Brizard has other plans, and that, I believe, is now kill number 25 for Ava.
Wow, Brizard says, give it to me, I'll take care of it. Such a powerful and explosive approach, and then she just cranks it down the line, avoiding the block and not hitting right into the platform of Kenna Phelan.
25 kills on 50 attacks with only 3 errors.
Wow, what a showing.
Stokes, this could be a strong service run for the Wolfpack here. She's been fantastic in multiple aspects, and Rothman was in the net.
And that's what that serve does. It gets Florida State a little chaotic. She was targeting Audrey Koenig. A smart decision. NC State's been doing that quite often. And with a serve that aggressive, that's a very difficult serve to get a good pass on.
And Chris Poole calls timeout here in the 5th, midway through. And you can call it icing the kicker if you want to, icing the server, or maybe he just wants to discuss a few things that just so happens to come when Stokes is serving. However you want to approach it, Florida State's got a 4-point lead they'd love to hang on to. And, I mean, if you're NC State, it's hard to imagine you've got anybody other than who you exactly want serving the ball right now.
Exactly. NC State still very much so in this game, especially with Stokes back there on the service line. And if I'm NC State, I think I'm going to set Brizard, I mean, almost every single time. It's okay that Florida State's block, maybe he's going to camp out on her. She's been so efficient. 25 kills, hitting 440. She does such a good job seeing the block, avoiding the block, powering through. NC State is in this.
They certainly are. And both teams have represented themselves incredibly well in this match, especially at the left pin position. When you look at Audrey Koenig and Audrey Rothman, each with double-doubles for the Noles. Ava Brizard with the career-high 25 kills and 5 digs. Then you look at her counterpart, Courtney Bryant, equaling a career-high 15 kills. She's got a double-double with 12 digs as well. Filamawa steps in on serve receive. Here's Rothman, dug up by Stokes. Brizard. Rothman off the block and down, and that is a huge point for the Seminoles, who side out and do not have to see Stokes for a good hot minute.
Exactly. It's not just 1 point. It's getting Stokes off of that service line. Audrey Rothman with almost even a no-look swing right there. So deceptive.
And then if you're Florida State, speaking of, I can't imagine anybody better to be serving the ball. How about their Serbian star, Angelija Draskovic, the 8th Serbian to come through the Florida State program. Filamawa with the bump to Rothman. Brizard crashes in for the dig. Lewis out of the middle, looking down the line, hunting that back corner. She's got it, the Noles have it, and they've doubled up the pack in the 5th.
Florida State defense doing a really good job controlling that first pass, and then we know how efficient Lewis is. First in the ACC in hitting percentage, 3rd in the country. She's who you want to set in big moments.
Just shy of 1,000 people in attendance for this match here this afternoon. And they've watched a dandy. Back set, Allen. Allen's gonna lobby for a touch call, and she'll get it. And that's the right call. Whoa! Now James Phillips is saying that it's point Florida State.
And Jada Allen very convinced that there was a touch on that.
I thought I heard a second contact myself.
Yeah, good challenge, definitely a good challenge.
And so as it stands at the moment, Florida State was awarded that point. They lead this set by 7. If you overturn the call of no touch and that it was an attack error, yes, You still got a bit of a mountain to climb for NC State, but two things. One, they've been there. And two, it's 5 points instead of 7.
Exactly, it's a 2-point swing every single time. It looks like it might have touched the top of her finger.
For what it's worth, I'm not a ref.
Yep.
But I had it as a touch all the way.
Yeah. Me neither, and I see it 100% a touch too, but we will see. Huge point for NC State. Huge.
And it's worth mentioning too, NC State coming off a 5-setter against Miami. They dropped that 5-set match against the Canes, but they trailed a whole boatload of set points in the 5th. They were down, match points it would be in the 5th. They were down 14-7. All Miami needed was one more point, and NC State rattled off 7.
We've talked about the resiliency of NC State a lot, and that's because it's a huge identity piece for them. They are so gritty and passionate, you can never count them out.
Now, it's got to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the floor, which again was that there was no Florida State touch and that this is an attack error by Jada Allen. And all of you at home have heard our 2 cents. We both think that there might have been a touch there by Audrey Rothman between the finger flexing and the spin changing and the sound of what we heard in the gym when it happened live. We've been team touch, and we'll see if that's where the referees go here. That's the right call.
Yep, NC State needed that, moving the score 7-12, only a 5-point deficit instead of a 7-point.
So the lead is now 5 for the Seminoles. Kristen McDaniel goes back to serve. Rothman puts it to the floor.
Rothman says, no matter. It's okay, it got overturned. Playing so consistently. It's her 12th kill. Great snap on that ball, just dropping it right in front of that middle back defender.
And a service error as she rotates to the back row. The lead down to 5 for the moment.
Broussard going to look to chip away at the point difference.
Deep float by Broussard. Koenig dug up by Broussard. Bryant rejected by Lewis. Second effort, Bryant. And that is no good. It is an error. And Lucas LeBay's got the challenge card in his hand, and he's going to use it.
The line judge initially said touch. So LeBay thought that they got that point, and then he looked up at the up ref and he said out. Got a lot of challenges, but a lot is on the line.
He still has 2 challenges. He has challenged twice and been successful both times. If the call is upheld on the floor, it'll be match point for the Noles. If the call is overturned, it becomes 13-9, a 4-point lead for Florida State, which is about as tight as the lead has been in some time.
Another tough call here. Look at this angle. I personally don't see a touch, but it's not up to me.
I'll say in this instance, the first time I could hear that second contact. This time I couldn't.
Yep.
But it is incredibly close, and you can understand not just 100%, but 200% why Lucas LeBay wants to take another look.
And can we just take a second to appreciate Corey Lewis's block? I mean, her shoulders are at the height of the net, and she's pressing so well. That is perfect technique. Kids, take notes. That is perfect blocking technique right there.
And as we take a look at some more of these angles, we're going to be speeding to a conclusion here, I would imagine, shortly. I don't know what the conclusion is, but we're going to be speeding toward it. Madison, let me just say, I have been incredibly impressed by both of these squads here today. There is no doubt in my mind, as long as everybody stays healthy, these teams absolutely should be in the NCAA tournament, and they're going to represent this league well, not just this year, but for years to come.
Exactly. Without a doubt, the level of play we've seen here today has been so high. I could see both of these teams making a good run in the tournament.
A touch call, and that tightens things up a little bit. It was incredibly close. And that is 3 successful challenges for Lucas LeBay. Now Angelia Draskovic is going to have a word with Joya Teeter, the down referee.
I think that the conversation right now is they're talking about who touched the ball. They're asking who touched it.
I wasn't sure if they were asking that or subs or rotation or what, but whatever the confirmation is they were looking for, they got it. And there's a service error. Florida State is now on the doorstep of winning their 3rd 5-setter in a week.
Wow. What a grind Florida State has been on and still producing at such a high level.
Stokes on serve receive. Bryant. Was she in the net? No. There was a net foul called. It was on 25 in Waikiari Roby.
The good dig by Kai Furumawa. Solid swing by Bryant. Replay on.
So Bryant, who has a new career high in kills herself at 17, trims the lead to 4. Koenig, and that'll do it. 1 week, 3 5-setters, all